welcome back to another video. Bradford City have been rejected, had the pants pulled down, been bent over, made look like cowboys by Jonny Williams, the former Wales international. Now let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. Like the video if you did, and subscribe if you're new. We've just hit 150 subscribers. I think we're on 158 now, so if you're new, please subscribe. It is massively appreciated, and thank you for the support. But let's get on to this, because it is big news. It was all over that Jonny Williams is going to be signing. Maybe a few of us were a bit naive, but I mean, you know, never trust the sun. But it must have been official, because medicals were about to be done, about to be unveiled at 5 to 6 o'clock, and then he snubs us for Gillingham. They're going to be rivals for us next season, and this is a big statement of intent. They showed it in January with big signings like De Jong, Hawkins, quite a few others as well, and then they finished the season really strong, one of the best teams in the league. Although they got a mid-table finish, they were really hard to beat at home, although we did beat them, and they finished the season really strongly. I think they were, you know, definitely in the playoffs if you know, it went for the last half of the season, and Neil Harris did a good job. Now it's a weird one, because you can look at it either way. Does it suit him with the playing style and how Gillingham are going to set up? But it does suit him because of the wages. I think he's getting a better wage offer than Swindon, but similar to us, and the location as well. It's very close to Swindon, obviously, South England. So it suits him for that. But the play style, Neil Harris, you know, from what I've sensed from him, he plays a long ball style of football, quite direct and quite defensive as well, and you know, not too dissimilar to what Stevenage did, judging from how he, you know, had his team set up at Millwall and Gillingham last season. So it's definitely an interesting move on his behalf, but I can't blame him if he has gone to Gillingham for the reasons on this side. And obviously at his age, you've got to go for location and money. Although I can't see it being too much, but my question is, why are Gillingham beating us to a player? Why are they financially better than us? Why can't we compete with Gillingham? Obviously they've got big owners, they're spending well, they're showing big statements of intent, but why can't we? Is it on Stephen Whoop? Is it on Ryan Sparks? Where does it lie? Because I've been Stephen Whoop in, really. He's a 5 out of 10 owner. He's not going to do much wrong. He's not going to do much right. He's in the middle. You're going to be stable. You know, it's going to be fine under him. It's sustainable. It gets thrown around a lot, but you're not really going to progress much. And if we did go up to League One, would he sell? Because we can't compete in League One with the financial powers that the top end of League One have. And when you can't compete with teams in League Two, you know, Stockport, they're going to throw a bit higher again, I suspect, this season. Gillingham and Wrexham are already throwing a bit at Doncaster. They're making some big signings, although some I'm not too keen on, and they've got Grant McCann. This player, Jonny Williams, looked to be Mark Hughes' #1 target this summer, and yet we haven't succeeded in signing him. He's like I said, he's made us look like cowboys. He's gone to Gillingham, a League Two rival. So yeah, it don't look good for the club, to be honest. They've done really well off the pitch commercially, and obviously the season ticket prices, and they've relatively kept the fans in the know, and they've made some good progress over the last few years off it. But on it, you know, apart from last season, we're consistently going back. And also off the pitch, let's not forget, we had the badge, we've had terrible manager appointments, recruitment's been dodgy recently, let's be honest. I mean, last season we made some signings that don't suit our style of play, didn't get much game time, renewed some players' contracts who Mark Hughes didn't play much last season, and we brought in a load of players who have potential, but we didn't give any trust in them. Jake Young looks like he's going, Odesina didn't work out, Ryan East got no game time, and you know, they become questionable. And then you look at why have we been in League Two for the last 5 seasons. So is it all rosy off the pitch as it all seems to be? And like I said, the badge proposal, that didn't go well, did it either? And you've got other things that have gone wrong, that's just off the top of my head. And on the pitch, like I say, we've been in League Two for 5 years now. We're still the biggest club in the league, but financially we haven't got those powers, and there's got to be question as to why we, as the biggest club, with the best stadium, with the best fans, with arguably the best manager in terms of reputation and what he's done in the game, why we can't compete with little Gillingham. Let's be honest, although they aren't financially, they aren't the biggest team in the league by any stretch, and you've got Wrexham as well, who, yeah, they've got, massive owners, Reynolds and McElhenney, or also known as the other one. Um, and there's other clubs as well who potentially are financially better off than us. So, like I say, it's definitely up to 5 out of 10 owner, but we need more than that, I think. And looking at it now, I'm leaning towards maybe he needs to part ways. Not now, because now's a terrible time to do it in the middle of a transfer window, but he's got to be heading towards his last few years because next season could be disastrous. It's over to the club now. Where's your plan B? Where's your second option? Where's your third? Where's your fourth? Because Ruben Rodriguez, whether we were in for him, whether we weren't, I'd hope that we were at some point. If we were snubbed us for Oxford, although it looked like he were more considering staying at Notts County or going to a top end League One for Oxford, so we had moved for him. You've got Jonny Williams snubbing us for Gillingham, saying you're probably on to third, fourth choice, and the only player brought in so far is Clark O'Dwyer, someone who got recalled from Hartlepool after not really working out there, a team that got relegated. So it doesn't look good for us, does it really? And we do look to be in a spot of bother. So like I say, it's over to the club now for Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. We've got to make sure we replace Williams with a good player, not with Alex Gilliard. Although I do like him, probably do want him to stay. We can't be announcing him yet because that doesn't look good for the club. And we've got to be making a big statement signing next, in my opinion, just to put a bit of pressure off them, because it's on them a lot now. But Simon Parker did put Jonny Williams will not be coming to Valley Parade. The former Wales international has pulled out of an agreed deal at the 11th hour of yesterday, and it is now set to sign for League Two rivals Gillingham. It is a huge blow for City, who were preparing to unveil him as their player later today. All the relevant paperwork had been agreed between the club and Williams' representatives. It is understood that Williams was in a hotel in Leeds, played for by the club, ahead of medical and media demands, where they received confirmation that the move was off. His agent called last night to inform City of the 29-year-old's change of heart following an offer from Gillingham. The stunned Bantams thought they had nailed a 3-year deal with Williams after meeting up with him last month. They had been prepared to meet his wage demands, which would have been a huge improvement on what he had been earning at Swindon. Temporary accommodation had also been arranged to help him relocate his family in Yorkshire. Williams had recently spoken to club officials and told them of his excitement ahead of joining City's promotion fight. Can't have been that excited, obviously. So last night's call caught them completely on the hop. The follow-up message this morning to underline the player's change of heart arrived just 2 hours before he was due to undergo a medical, a big change of heart. Gillingham have been spending big since they were taken over by American Brad Gallison last Christmas. The Florida-based property tycoon bankrolled a lucrative January transfer window which included the expensive capture of Tom Nichols and Ollie Hawkins as the Gills pulled away from relegation trouble and finished mid-table, and that, like I said, they were fantastic towards the back end of last season. So that's the article from Simon Parker, very reliable journalist, and even he was doing articles on why Jonny Williams is a good signing of the such. So it did come as a massive shock, although the Sun really started the link, and that's not the most credible newspaper, is it? Let's be honest, but even they pretty much got it right. And it is just a big shame because there's so many positives around Jonny Williams as why we should sign him. 29, turning 30, October the 9th on a 3-year deal, leaves when he's 32. That's a pretty solid deal for the quality that he's got at his age, in his prime. Can play as a number 10 or a number 8. Really good ball carrier. I'd probably prefer him as a number 8 because he can control the game a bit more in that more central, deeper position. And he's a really good ball carrier, like I said, a bit like Gilliard, but he's got the ability that Gilliard doesn't have. Takes risks as well in the final third. Really good technical player in the final third, but also he's got a really good shot on him. 10 goals, 2 assists last season for Swindon. Had a good spell there, and what they did well was monitoring his injuries. That's probably a negative to his side, but he's got a lot of injury problems, but Swindon got the best out of him and they monitored him really well. That's something we've seen recently with the physios and Mark Hughes. Monitoring injury-prone players, that's a big plus from last season, and I think Mark Hughes will be able to prevent injuries more from him rather than maybe a Gillingham, but we'll find out. And he's obviously played at top level, played big games for Wales in the World Cup, Euros, qualifiers, stepped up when it mattered for his country, played in the Premier League, I think, with Crystal Palace. He's a championship standard player, really, and he's always had that quality to play there, but like I said, injuries has limited him, and that's why he's in League Two for Gillingham next season, which is a shame, but, you know, we've got to get on with it now. He's a Gills player. In the end, I do wish him well, and I can't really blame him. I think, for me, the blame lies on the club, you know, for not competing with a team like Gillingham and not doing everything they can to back Mark Hughes. I think that's the big thing. We can't back our own manager. We haven't backed previous managers. You can't back Mark Hughes now to bring in his #1 target, so it seems. Obviously, we're an outsider's looking in, but outsiders looking in, you can still get a peep of what you can think, and I think it would be Mark Hughes' #1 target. So it's interesting that, you know, we didn't do everything we could by the looks of it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who did it lie on? Does it lie on Stefan Whoop? Is it time for him to go? Can he take us any further? Is it on Ryan Sparks? Obviously not currently here, I don't think. Should he have done more, or someone else maybe behind the scenes in the recruitment part of the club? Is it on Mark Hughes? To be honest, I don't think it is, but is it? If you think so, let me know. And is it on Jonny Williams, which I think probably most of you will think, for not having the ambition to be playing week in, week out at Valley Parade with around 20,000 fans and actually a big club. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like the video if you did, it does massively help out. So we're going for 200 subscribers now before the start of next season. Bit far-fetched, but the support's been unbelievable in the last few videos as well, so thanks very much for that. It's very much appreciated. Have a good one.